the recording. So in our class tonight, we're pondering the shoulders and the upper back and neck. So we're kind of continuing from last week's classes, but I think it's really helpful to understand the anatomy of why the neck and the shoulders is so connected. This is a Humanetta skeletonis. Isn't she a beauty? Wearing the appropriate attire for the event. The shoulders are 3 bones. It's the shoulder blade, and it's the upper arm bone, and then it is the collarbone. So this is a Halloween skeleton. That was what I could afford in the skeleton apartment. So, but it's worked quite well. So the shoulder blade, the upper arm bone, the humerus, and then the collarbones is the shoulder joint. And the muscles that we really have to work with here a lot is the pec major, which comes from the sternum out to the arm bone. So when the pec majors are tight, it pulls the shoulders forward. And then we have also the pec minors, which work in conjunction with the scalenes, and they attach to the neck, and they also attach down to the first it's called collarbone, first and second ribs. So if we are tight this way, if we have a collapsed posture, it literally pulls the neck forward. We add to that little party that on the back body, the shoulder blade that anchors the trapezius that attaches to the skull and to the outer edge and the top here for the upper trapezius. If that's tight, if we worry a lot, if we sit forward, then everything slides forward this way. And then of course the lower and middle trapezius are weak, as is the anterior serratus, which helps anchor the shoulder blade on to the ribs. So we have to work with everything in this whole complex to both bring balance to the shoulders, but also to release the neck, because the neck is just along for the ride in essence. And the neck is like knees. The neck is rarely the neck. But if we have compression in the neck for a long time, because the rubber bands are pulling it forward, we can begin to have discs go in the not desired direction. And then my plumber just told me today he had to have spinal cervical fusion because of the work. Is just, he figured, what did it. So I don't want you to have to go through a cervical fusion. So we'll get these rubber bands put back where they belong. So that means we have to work on the front, we have to work on the back, and we have to work on these rubber bands up here. So we are going to start on our back. Now I have a blanket rolled up on the mat. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use the strap for our first work. So I invite you to come onto the back. Now if you don't have a blanket, no worries, you can lay flat on your back. And you will take a strap, a belt, a towel, anything. And I just folded this one over. So it's a very simple event. And then I got our book. I want to make sure that I'm following protocol. So I come onto the back, and I'm just letting the blanket clear right under the shoulder blades. And as I come back, if I can't talk, then you will need, and let me grab that, maybe a second blanket. And if this is still not comfortable for your body, in which case I said, skip the blankets. It just helps provide a little bit more opening across the pec minors in particular. Now take the strap up to the sky and hold the arms straight up. So there's a little bit of tension on the strap. It's not slack, but you're not jerking on it. So it's not really firm. And then you're simply just going to draw the hands closer to the sky and then pull the arms back down. So you're going to feel the shoulder blades are spreading on the back and drawing together. You're just going to go back and forth. And get a sense of this movement. Get a sense of the shoulder blades are moving evenly together, or does one not seem to want to unstick? So we're just going back and forth. So there's a lot of quiet work when we work around the shoulders, because what happens with our shoulders and then with our necks is that we have compensatory movement patterns. So now, with the strap held up, and you can do this without a strap too, but I recommend a strap because that helps us work with the arms evenly. And you'll simply begin to draw the arms back. Now, what you want to pay attention to is that you're not arching the back as you take the arms back. It is a pure shoulder movement. So the latissimus dorsi, I didn't point those out, but those are the wings on our back. A long muscle that connects from the low back up to the arm bone. So you simply let the arms go back and you explore. Don't go too fast, too soon. Just take your time. Take your time. Draw the arms back and notice, is anything else moving? Does the neck move? Does the back move? So here we begin to invite in full shoulder mobility, and it takes time. So full shoulder mobility should be about 180 degrees, meaning we should be able to take the arms straight up, though we stop doing that at some point, and then there's more tension, and then it gets less and less. So this is a very simple way to invite this back in again. All right, let's take the arms up. And then I'm going to just put the strap to the side. So now, you're going to hold your index finger and thumb together, and you're going to put them all the way together. The elbows are bent out to the side. You have an imaginary string. So elbows bent, and I'm just going to pull the string longer. And back together again. So now I am moving my shoulder blades together. So that's the rhomboids, the muscles that sits between the shoulder blades. If we have a forward head posture, the rhomboids tends to be overstretched and weak as they're held in the outer position. And here, you're simply just exploring again, sensing, so quiet, deep work. Moving the fingers together and then apart. Does your shoulder blade move? Do the shoulder blades move evenly? Can you sense if there's some movement? Pollution is a strong word, but compensation of the movement. And we let that go. And I'm just going to slowly roll over onto one side to get off the blanket. So if you're not in a blanket, you stay exactly where you are. And now we're just going to pause. So just let your hands rest on your abdomen. Just resting your hands on your belly. I got to let So we were just exploring the shoulder blade movement, directions up and down and side to side. And we did that in the somatics classes last week. So you can go onto YouTube too, and you can find the class there for more exploration of this. Right now, we're just resting the hands on the belly and let the arms take a little break as we connect to the breath. The diaphragm sits back right in the middle, T12. And because it intersects with the psoas, the hips, but also where all the spinal muscles, including the trapezius, are attached. If we're not moving the diaphragm, meaning the belly doesn't expand when we breathe. And we are stuck across the back seam. So we always come back to this. Now we're going to explore rotation of the spine. Make sure that I'm following. Supine twist followed by sunrise. So this sequence is from my Therapeutics book, from my yoga therapist education. We'll straighten the left leg out. We'll take the right arm out to the side, and we'll take the right knee in. So now keep your right shoulder heavy on the floor as you begin to draw the knee across. You might begin to roll over onto the left hip, keeping your right shoulder down. We're just going to go back and forth a couple of times. Because what happens too often is that we lose the rotation in the ribs. We lose the rotation. It compresses and pulls everything firmer and firmer together. Now here, if you would like, you can certainly take your head opposite of the knee. Just again, go slow and notice as you explore the rotation. Does the shoulder begin to follow you up? So keeping that arm glued to the floor, shoulder is glued to the floor. We're going to let the right leg come down, and we'll take the left knee up. Catch the outer hip or the outer knee. And again, we just begin to explore, keeping the left arm down. Notice as you deepen the twist. Does the shoulder want to follow along? If our front line has shortened, we are losing rotation, which puts a lot of stress on the ligament that connects the peripheral body to the center body. The center, of course, comprised of the spine. Peripheral, what's not the spine. So we go back and forth. Notice if you go too far, your shoulder will lift up. So to keep it as in a true rotation. Move slowly enough where you can really listen. Where you can be present. Just hold it for a couple of breaths. Letting gravity maybe inviting a little bit more opening across the side. And we'll return to center. Let's release the leg out and just pause here and feel. Pause and feel. How does the ribs rest on the back? How does the shoulder blades rest on the back? We'll roll over. Either side, doesn't matter. We're going to do the other one. I'm going to roll towards the camera. I'll bend up my knees. And then I'm going to take my blankets and stack them high enough where my head is well supported. So blankets, a pillow. You don't want your head to be hanging. I'm going to place my palms together. Placing my palms together. I'm going to come over and get the knees back into the clasp. So now I'm laying on my side. Palms stacked. So you'll recognize this from somatics. I'm just going to slide the top arm back and forth. So very similar to the treading, I guess that would be threading movement. That H is a sneaky little friend. Going back and forth. So the top shoulder blades moves towards the spine and away from the spine. Now let's begin with the palms together here. We're going to lift the top arm up, lifting the top arm up. And when it comes to the top, let it come to the top. And then taking care that you're not over cranking the arm back. So now you want your torso and your arm to travel as one unit. And so you can keep looking at the finger, or you can keep the gaze straight up if that is more comfortable for your neck. So I'm letting my torso and my arm travel as one unit. And then I draw back up again, coming up to center. And I'm going to go back again. So be really vigilant about not letting the hand travel faster than the trunk, that your arm is just a reflection of the rotation in your torso. So in this, again, in this slow, still work is where we rehabilitate, where there may be some imbalances that has snuck in. We cannot hurry rehabilitation, but we can hurry injury. Can you explore our yoga practice? I think a lot, like I had this discussion with a friend yesterday, like language learning. You have to have curiosity, and there has to be a little bit of levity. Don't take it too serious, but be so very curious. All right, well, let's take the arm down. And we're just going to slowly roll over onto the back. I'm going to pause here. And just notice, again, your ribs and your shoulder blades. Notice the breath, right side, left side. And then repeat the other side. So rolling onto the other side. And again, make sure that your head is propped up. And I'm going to move my blanket so that I can keep my eyes on the camera. So here, we start with the hands stacked. And then we just slide the top arm back and forth so that the shoulder blade is moving on the back. And there's a little bit of rotation too. The frozen shoulder is where the shoulder blade does not move at all. Very painful. So with a frozen shoulder, we start just with little itty bitty movements. Back and forth. And now we'll begin to take the top arm up. Just simply follow the gaze, follow the thumb with your gaze. Make it one unit, so make your arm and your upper chest one unit. So as you begin to release the arm towards the floor, making sure that it doesn't travel any faster. Just lift up a little bit again. And we lower back down again. We just go back and forth. It's gentle. It's mindful. So we're just sensing, where's the balance? Where's their ease? And we move from this place. Ease as opposed to dis-ease. And you may find that you can take the arm all the way down, but the shoulder and the hand should touch at the same time. If the hand touches before the shoulder, then the arm is traveling too fast. It's nice and easy. Nice and easy. And let's take the arm all the way out. And then from here, we're going to sit up. And I brought a chair in. So you can either sit up on a chair or you can sit simply in a comfortable position. So you want to sit in a way that you are not collapsing in the spine. So it may be in Sukhasana, cross-legged. It may be on your heels as I'm sitting right now. And I'll take my top off. You see, then we'll, as we ponder the shoulders. So now we'll just do simple shoulder rolls. And we're using all the muscles of the whole shoulder complex. So you draw the shoulders up, bringing them together on the back. We're taking them down and forward. So as you are moving the shoulders to these gentle rolls, pay close attention that your low back is not moving, that this is a straight and only shoulders, that the rib cage is not moving, the neck is not moving, but everything else is completely still. Still and easy. As you move the shoulders up, this is the upper trapezius. As we draw the shoulders back, the rhomboids, as we squeeze the shoulder blades together or activate it, draw the shoulder blades down. It is the lower and middle trapezius with the serratus anterior. And then we draw the shoulders forward, the pec majors. So the whole shoulder complex is being affected in this one here. I'm going to put a little bit of more heat into the shoulders with our next movement. So we'll take the arms up. We'll have the palms facing down first. So the palms will be facing down. And you're just going to take the arms back. Again, this is a shoulder movement, not a spinal, excuse me, as a sneeze wanting to come in. So as you move the shoulders back, not into a back bend, you're just working with the shoulder movement. So palms facing down, and then flip the palms facing up. And you may notice that feels very different. Down, palms down, and then palms up. And move slow enough where you can sense if you are adding spinal movement into it. We're going to add the breath. So you exhale back, and you can exhale through the mouth or through the nose. Inhaling as you go forward, and just switch the hands so you do 2 pulls with either direction. Again, we are working with the rhomboids, and they really are one of the muscle groups that's just kind of checks out and gives up due to the forward posture. So a really great move. Let's take the arms down. Let's just give the shoulders a break for our half eagle pose. So we'll take the right arm up. I'm mirroring now, so it's the left. This mirror business has been really fun for me here. I'll take it all straight up, and then I'll take the elbow across. I'm just holding it with my left arm. And just on the outside. So I'm getting a little bit of a lengthening on the back of the shoulder. And I'm going to bend the elbow down and up again. So I'm just adding simple inner rotation. Again, restoring movement. We don't use our shoulders evenly. We have some movements that we do a lot, and then there are other movements that we don't do a lot. So again, the yoga practice is really great at helping us rehabilitate. From a yoga perspective, we look at our shoulders and arms as the agents of the heart. So we want them working well. All right, let's do the other side. So I'll take the elbow across. And then again, I'm just working on simple rotation. So that is the posterior deltoid. So when we do eagle arms is what we are working with here. They're gentle, easy, and simple. Something you can do, I was going to send the checkout line, but I'm sure most of us right now, we're not spending a lot of lines in the checkout lines anywhere. At least I know I'm not. I haven't seen a grocery store in a month. And we'll take the arms up and releasing down. Let's do the shoulder rolls again. I'm going forward this time. Pulling down, squeezing together, pulling up, squeezing forward. I just keep going around and around and around. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of neck release here, sort of in the middle of everything. So if you are comfortable how you're sitting, stay like that. You can switch your seat, and again, you can certainly sit on a chair. So let's take our left hand around the head. We'll put a little headband on. So we're sitting up tall, and we'll take the ear down to the shoulder. The ear comes to the shoulder. So you feel a stretch in this right side of your neck. So those are the scalenes that attaches from the skull to the collarbones, the first and the second ribs. Now we're going to make a very, very gentle movement here. So as you exhale, you just let everything get really heavy. But on the in-breath, a very gentle lifting up of the head. So you feel the muscles are now engaging. And then you exhale, you just let it all go. Inhale, the head presses up, the muscles engage. And then you let it all release down. Do that one more time, pressing the head up gently into the hand. And then we let it lengthen down. Now slowly turn the head and look down towards your left armpit. Now my hand is going to move to the back of my head so that it provides even weight. I'm going to do the same thing. As I exhale, I just let the weight of my hand soften the head down. And as I inhale, I try to look up, but I can't go anywhere because my hand is there. And I exhale, I simply release and relax. And then I try to pull the head up, muscles engage. I can feel them engaging. And then I relax everything. And then one more time, pressing the head up. And then letting it go. Now let's first turn the head back to neutral. And I'm going to lift the head up and release. We'll do the other side. So the hand comes over the head. And first, just let the head soften down towards the ear. Letting your left shoulder be heavy. And as you inhale, we begin the isometric work, pressing up into the hand, muscles engaged, and then we make it eccentric by letting the weight of the head slowly release on the out-breath. It's just a very gentle back and forth. So we can bring length onto the muscle again so they don't pull together so hard that we are compressing the vertebrae, the discs in our neck. And let's turn the head down, looking down towards your right armpit. My hand is now on the back of the head. And then the same thing. I try to lift the head. I feel the muscles engaging. And as I exhale, slowly release. And again, trying to lift the head. It's not happening. And I let the weight of the head soften down. Do that one more time. Feel the muscle engaging on the inhalation, even though there's minor movement. And then we slowly release down. Return the head back to neutral. And we come all the way up. Now we're going to interlace the hands behind the head, so that the pinky finger, and I stack the pinky fingers, I'm going to snuzzle them right up under the skull. And then I'm going to sort of roll the fingers together, rolling the fingers together. And then as I inhale, draw the elbows together and then crunch and scrunch your fingers. Crunch and scrunch your fingers. So what we're doing, we're now lengthening the back of the neck as we draw the chin to the sky. And we're going to let that go. Quote straight from the great Terry Brown, if it doesn't hurt the fingers, you are not squeezing enough. So there's a little ahimsa thing going on there. So again, roll the fingers so they kind of roll together into a little sack, a little ball, not ball, a little roly-poly, right up under the skull. And then you have C7, the big cervical vertebrae on the other side. And then again, I'm drawing the chin towards the sky. And I'm squeezing, 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 squeezing my fingers. So squeeze, but be kind. And we come back to center. Let's take the hand to the back of the neck, and we just let the weight of the hands draw straight down, straight down. There'll be a little lifting as you inhale. Same thing again. Now we go straight down. So this is the upper trapezius again. Lift a little bit on the in-breath. And then exhale, head, the chin draws right towards the chest. And inhale, let's come all the way up. Release the arms down. And just notice your neck, turning the head gently from side to side. So a lot of these you can use them as snacks throughout the day if you find that your neck is getting tense, but you really want to look first at your posture. All right, we're going to come up into standing. So you'll take your chair and you're going to put it on the mat. I'm going to move my blankets off here. So I think I need to change the camera angle, but that will be in a little bit. Standing Mayurvasana. So we do this pose seated often, but today we're going to go right back to pondering up the rib cage. So let's step the right foot up onto the chair. And it can be on an ottoman, a coffee table. It's just whatever you got available. So everything becomes a yoga prop when we practice at home. Now you'll bring your palms together at heart center. And you'll place your thumbs right at the clavicular notches at the sternum. And then you'll take your middle fingers to your chin. So this is your little tattletale. I'm going to twist to the left, but I want to make sure that my chin and my sternum travels together. So that's the same principle as before. So we only go as far as is available. Traveling together. Just exploring these little moves, mostly the external obliques. So my middle fingers on my chin ensures that I'm not overturning in the head, but not putting enough movement into my ribs. So I'm just moving gently from side to side. And then come back to center. And we'll step down. And we'll step the other leg up. And we'll let Denise back in. So now stepping the left foot up. Placing the thumbs on the chest again. And the chin to the middle finger. Now drawing the shoulder blades down the back. So a sense of lifting the sternum up. And now we twist to the other side. Moving the upper chest as one, keeping the legs exactly where they are. Twisting as you exhale and return to center on the in-breath. Notice if you have as much rotation on this side as you do on the other side. Is there discomfort? Is there pain? And if so, what is going on? Where is the stickiness? We tend to have more bindings on our dominant side. So we are simply exploring this. Now let's come back to neutral and then stand in mountain pose. So we did this in yoga last week where we were strapping the belt under the feet with the knees bent. So right now I'm going to have you use your imaginary strap. And then as you straighten the legs, it draws the arms down. So you feel the shoulder blades are coming together on the back and then drawing down the back so that the sternum is lifted. So most of us don't stand like this. And we do the opposite, and you can feel it if you let yourself slouch a little bit. The shoulder blades have now slid up the back, and we have compressed and collapsed the front. So let's again bend the knees, strap on the imaginary strap from last week, draw the fingertips towards the floor. And then as you straighten the legs, keep the hands where they are, but draw the shoulder blades together and down the back. Together and down the back. Feel the weight as it draws into the heels. So the legs are powerful and strong. And we're going to ponder this notion in classes this week. I'm going to give you a little cue that's going to be coming up tomorrow. As you ground down through the heel and you draw the knees up into your hips, you draw the inner groins back a little bit. So let the inner groins soften back. I know that is a weird cue. Let's take the hands to the hips. We'll do a little chair pose. So with the feet now close together, or take a block and place it between your thighs, or a book, or a vase, or a dog, whatever you can find. And as you exhale, draw the hips back, draw the hips back. So again, we change the inner groins back. We can keep the hands on the hips. We can take them out to the sky, out to the side, sorry. So right now, Utkatasana, chair pose. Keeping the sternum lifted and the shoulder blade down. Shoulder blades are down. We'll inhale. We'll stand back up again. Imaginary strap, drawing the hands down. Inner groins moving back, moving back. As we stand. Tadasana, the most important pose. Now, we're going to move to a wall for the clock stretch. You can do this in a doorway, and I'm going to turn the camera so you can actually see me using the wall. The clock stretch is a wonderful pose for this. We'll start by facing the wall. So start by facing the wall, and you'll take your arm, and I'm standing about my toes about 3 inches away from the wall. And I'm going to take my left arm out alongside the wall. And then reach the arm out. As I begin to spin, I get my whole arm on the wall. The whole arm is on the wall. Now you control the intensity. So what we are working at is the connective tissue, the pec majors, from the breastbone out to the upper arm bone. If this is so intense, you're thinking you may lose use of your arm. Take your arm down a little bit lower. So the work here with the arm out, now let's reach out through the fingers, and then draw the shoulder down, draw the shoulder down the back, draw the shoulder down the back. And again, experiment with rotating the sternum away, but keep the entire arm on the wall. Keep the arm on the wall. Keep the shoulder blade drawing down and onto the back, down and on the back. And then, bonus round, turn the palm towards the sky, so the pinky side of the hand is on the wall. You reach out through the fingers. Reach out through the fingers. And then let the palm come back onto the wall. And just slide the arm down. And then stand and feel. Right arm, left arm. Are there more sensations on one side? Notice the fingers, the elbow. A lot of wrist and elbow thingies are from the shoulder thingies. So this whole shoulder girdle complex, shoulder, upper back, and neck. You sort out one, you sort out the whole bit. Let's do the other side. So reach your arm straight up from the shoulder. And again, with the fingertips like a little tree frog pads on your hands, holding onto the wall. And then begin to spin away from the wall. But keep the arm on the wall as you draw the shoulder blade down the back. Draw the shoulder blade down the back. And remember, you can lower the arm down if it is really intense. Keep the shoulder blade moving down as you reach out through the fingers, reaching out through the fingers. And now we get really huggable here. We're opening up the whole Heart Sutra. Each finger, remember this fascia, connects to the fascia around the heart, the lungs, the pericardium. So by releasing tension here, we also release tension around these rather important organs. Now, I didn't forget, palm towards the sky. Keep reaching out through the fingers, reaching out through the fingers. And breathe. Steady breath, steady pose. Steady breath, steady pose. And we bring the palm back on the wall and just slide the arm down. And again, stand and feel. So I get this question frequently. If I have tingling in my fingers, what does that mean? Is it bad? Not necessarily. Numbness, yeah, not so good. Numbness means that the brachial complex, the collarbones as you sit down on to the ribs, is compressing the nerves from the neck. So in which case, we make changes so that we are not experiencing numbness. But tingling can actually be the fascia being released. Now, we have gotten to our shower pose. I've never done this in the shower, but this is what they call it. You will take the arms out to the sides. You will stand with your feet. You're going to back it up. So about a foot or so away from the wall, You take your arms as wide as you need them to go. We're going to draw the hips back over the heels, but we're going to draw the heart towards the wall. The heart, so maybe the sternum, maybe the chin comes onto the wall as you creep the hands up as high as you can, creeping the fingers up as high as you can. You can do this in a doorway. And slide the hands back, lift away. That one is a little intense. What we are working on here is the kyphosis in the upper back, which throws everything forward. So the work is to lift the sternum, and work with where you are. And we always need to work with where we are in the pose. We can add a little bit of excitement to this one here. So we'll bring the hands onto the wall again. And we're going to come up on the tiptoes. I'm lifting up on the tiptoes. I'm reaching my arms up like little Spider-Man fingers, as high as I can get them. I'll take my chin and heart on the wall this time first. And then I'll draw my heel down, but I'll keep trying to stay long, 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 long as I pull my hips back, as I pull the hips back. And then chin on the wall, heart on the wall. We're going to take one breath and then say the seed sound for the throat is lum, 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 lum. We'll take the hands down and stand in mountain pose. Lift the chest. Draw the shoulders down. So once we get the muscles balanced on the front and the back, there's going to be a lot less effort in standing in a neutral posture and not a collapsed posture. Lauren Fishman, I have a webinar with him in 2 hours, circa. He says we just need 2 things to age well: good posture and maintain our balance skills. So that's an easy list to remember. Now, we're going to use our strap again, because you can't talk about shoulders without doing the harness. So I have an 8-foot strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can use a belt, towel. You might need 2. And remember, this will be on the video. If you or anybody you know that has shoulder thingies, this is really a great place to start. So some of you know this application. I'm going to take this strap behind my back. And then I'm going to cross it. And then I'm going to catch the loops. Catch the loops. So here is my trapezius little helper. Because as I draw on the strap ends, I am now releasing the upper trapezius. So this is a powerful practice just to simply work with the strap. So you catch the straps from behind the back. Catch the straps from behind the back. And sometimes, if you're rehabilitating a shoulder, you may want to just simply buckle it. It is that easy. We're going to do a little pit stop here, because we're going to take it into Shalabhasana. So I'm going to just leave the strap on, hanging as it is. Now I'm going to move my chair off the mat. If you have a blanket on the mat like I do, you're going to take that off too. We'll use it at the end. So now I'm still wearing my shoulders little helpers. Now you can do this pose without. If you don't have an 8-foot strap, the 6 is too short. You're probably going to be okay with the 6 for the Shalabhasana. You can also do the Shalabhasana we did in class last week with a little loop where you hold the strap and just reach the arms back. But we're going to come right onto the belly because Shalabhasana, probably one of the most important poses oh, now you can't see me. I got to set the camera back up. You're going to come onto the belly. I'm going to rescue the camera. And we are rolling again. They won't be calling from Hollywood, pretty sure. All right, I got my strap. I'm going to tuck my toes under. And then as I inhale, let's press the heels back, so the knees are lifting up. And then I'm going to pull the strap back. And I'm lifting myself up into Shalabhasana. So I'm teaching my shoulder blades to draw down the back and onto the back. I'm going to release back down. This time, I'm just going to take it off. Because I just taught my shoulder blades what they need to do. And here, I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my back, or I'm going to use my strap to hold my hands. Let's roll the shoulders up and down the back. So now the shoulder blades are already on the jump. Pin the shoulder blades together. And then inhale, begin to lift the heart and the head. We'll add the legs just for good measure. Add the legs. And breathe. Slow and steady breath. And then we'll release down. And we're going to roll over onto the back. So rolling onto your back. Take the hands down alongside the hips. So I'm laying centered on my mat. I'm grabbing onto the mat with my hands. I'm preparing for bridge pose. It's going to be a super slow bridge pose. I'm going to lift about 2/3 up, pressing into the feet and coming up. So now I want you to just wait, and let there be a little release and traction in the upper back and neck. So you feel the skin softening, releasing. And now from here, I press up into bridge pose. I pause again. I feel the skin moving down to my back. Feel the whole upper back complex releasing. And we'll slowly release down. One of the reasons that our posture kind of tanks is because lack of back bending. It's what brings the spine back into neutral as we tend to spend more time curling forward. So I hear you. We should do one more. So walking the feet in, grabbing on, and you can do a little pre-pinning, but not overly so of the shoulders under. I'm again going to just lift up 1/2 or 2/3 of the way. I'm going to wait for my upper back, the traction of the flesh. So my chin softens towards my chest. The chin softens towards the chest. So a little Jalandhara Bandha. And once that little adjustment has happened, now I lift up a little bit higher. A little bit higher. So my sternum is traveling towards my chin as I lift up. But as my upper back softens and releases, my chin also relaxes towards the chest. So the back of my neck is lengthening. One more breath. And then slowly releasing down. So not the bridge to end all bridges. That wasn't the purpose. Let your back body relax into the floor. And then let's draw one leg and then the other in. And just pause here. Pause. Let the low back acclimatize after the back bend. And then let's release the feet down. We're going to set up for Shavasana. So Salamba Shavasana. Salamba means supported. 2 blankets. So I'm going to fold one blanket in the long rolls, the one I call the basket rolling class. I'm going to check that my edges are pretty firm and I have the fringes on the bottom. I'm going to take a second blanket and I'm just going to fold that in the opposite direction. And this is my head blanket. I'm going to place that on top. So once I have this set up, I'm going to measure. I'm going to measure the distance. So when I come to lay down, that the blanket is touching the top of the shoulders and that the spinal blanket is supporting my low back, but I'm not sitting on it. So it's like just fiddle around a little bit and get it just right so that your low back is as supported as you want it and that your head is supported as you want it. Because wait, there's more. Don't get too comfortable. So watch while I show you this last adjustment. So what we're going to do to get that same traction on the upper shoulders is from where I was sitting, where it was just perfect, I'm now going to scooch about an inch forward. It's an inch, not a kilometer. And then I'm going to lay down again. And I know, I'm in the wrong place. But now I'm going to bring my feet in. And then I'm going to push myself up. So I'm dragging the skin, the fascia, the whole back seam down my back now. And once that's down, I'm going to adjust my shoulders. And I'm going to release my leg. You can keep your knees bent if that feels better. And here is Shavasana. Place your arms in a manner that is comfortable for your body, maybe about 6-8 inches out. It can be further. You want to feel that your shoulders can relax completely and that the armpit chest is open and free. You settle into Shavasana. You inquire if there is any effort anywhere. If there is, can you let go a little bit around the area where there is effort? Can you soften? When we work with the upper back and shoulder complex, we are working with our armor. So invite in ease, inviting softening. Now gently begin to deepen your breath. In a non-hurried way. Notice how this simple action of deepening your breath awakens and connects everything. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bend your knees. Place the feet on the mat and just rock the knees gently from side to side. Rolling all the way over onto one side, and pause here just for a moment. And then use your arms and hands, your heart agents, to press you up into a comfortable seated posture. We'll bring our palms together at heart center. Closing it with Om Shanti, 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 Om. Let's exhale completely. Take a deep breath in. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Namaste. Let me turn the excuse me, turning the unmute you.